Station 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
Well, if you have aspirations about going to the moon, but you just can't quite get there, we might have second best for you. Although you still have to fly somewhere and a long distance to boot. We'll explain when we come back. When's news time? 4:14.
Do you believe in second chances? Well, the New York Lottery certainly does, and right now they're giving you a second chance to win $1 million. Visit nylmylotterydreamhome.com and enter eligible HGTV's My Lottery Dream Home scratch-off tickets from the New York Lottery for a second chance to win cash prizes up to $1 million. Visit nylmylotterydreamhome.com today for a second chance to give your dreams a home. Please play responsibly, must be 18 plus.
Here's my brother, Stu Leonard, talking about spring.
The winters are sort of gray. All of a sudden you walk in and you start seeing color. That's what we say at the garden shop is, we're selling color right now, because that's what everybody's looking for. You see the bedding plants. You see the hanging baskets. The nice thing about the spring, too, is a lot of the local farms start to open up. Joe D. delivers to Stu Leonard's fresh plants and flowers 7 days a week.
When's news time? 4:15. Plant-based meat used to be the big thing, right? Everybody was talking about it. Get it. Well, now things have kind of tapered off with that. Now, Upside Foods just got the green light from the FDA to make cultivated meat grown directly from animal cells. Company with regulatory approval in its sights now. 2023 will be the year. The Berkeley, California company has been working on this since 2015. Its cell-cultivated chicken product, in fact, was cleared as safe for human consumption, marking the first time the FDA has given that designation to anybody for lab-grown meat. The big thing right now is convincing the public that it's okay, and it's not a science project. Somebody said, this sounds like test tube steak. It just doesn't sound good. Anyway, the company says, unlike plant-based meats, it is real meat, but minus the slaughtered animals. Might take a little convincing there. Well, this next one might make Elon Musk jealous while he's trying to send people to the moon. Guess what?
You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
And that's exactly what a Canadian guy with deep pockets wants to do, bring the moon to you. Listen to what this guy's talking about building in Dubai.
Canadian businessman Michael Henderson wants to build a 900-foot replica of the moon in Dubai. The city-state is already home to the world's tallest building. This $5 billion proposal includes a destination resort inside the sphere, a 4,000-room hotel and arena that can seat 10,000, and a lunar colony that would give guests the sensation of walking on the moon. Henderson calls the project Moon, and it fits with his company name, Moon World Resorts. Artist renderings have placed it in various places around Dubai.
Somebody said that sounds like Epcot, but without the hotels inside. And here's the big sell. The moon would sit on a pedestal-like circular building beneath it, and it would glow at night. Hush your mouth. Out at Brookfield Place, it's Elemental, my dear Watson. Elemental.
Meet the residents of Element City.
Disney and Pixar's Elemental comes to life this weekend with a pop-up experience.
Water is always getting into
You know where Brookfield is, right? Right there at the World Trade near Path. Well, anyway, the pop-up recreates the metropolis at the center of the movie, depicting a world where the different elements, earth, air, fire, and water, for you 70s babies, earth, wind, and fire, test their coexistence. The touring exhibit will run through this Sunday at Brookfield Place in Lower Manhattan from 11 to 8. You can take pictures and videos and also draw things with the Pixar artists. Sounds like fun. By the way, the movie opens on June the 16th. Also, I hear they've got one of those wind tunnels where you can grab movie tickets. That should be fun. When's news time? 4:18.
And paid for by the Sentinel Group. Attention veterans, active duty military, civilians, and contractors. If you were issued earplugs between 1999 and 2015 and were diagnosed with hearing loss or ringing in the ears, you may be entitled to compensation. The manufacturer of these military earplugs recently paid $9.1 million to resolve claims that their earplugs were defective, potentially exposing service members to damaging sound levels that could have resulted in hearing loss or tinnitus. If you or a loved one were issued earplugs and were diagnosed with tinnitus or hearing loss, don't wait. You fought for this country, and our attorneys want to fight for you. Call 800-430-6032 now for a free legal consultation and to see if you may be eligible to file a claim. Time restrictions may apply, and you pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. So call 800-430-6032 now. Again, 800-430-6032. That's 800-430-6032.
Jane presents a tale of longing and long-lasting scent. Dear love of my life, we were on the 12B bus when I caught a whiff. A scent so fresh, so life-changing, I had to find its source. I didn't know if you were the woman in the pink freshly washed cardigan or the retired mailman next to me, but I knew one of you was my soulmate. Ah, the scent of Gain Flings. Add Gain scent beads for an even longer lasting scent.
Imagine a world with endless possibilities. I'm talking endless savings and endless hot showers. Yeah, you heard me right. Endless hot showers. With Navien, that dream is now a reality. Navien tankless water heaters deliver a continuous flow of hot water for as long as you need it. No waiting for a tank to reheat more water, wasting time and energy. The compact design saves you space and money in comparison to traditional tank water heaters. It's time to make the switch and make your hot water dreams come true. Visit tanklessmadesimple.com.
AccuWeather is the most trusted name in forecasting, and you can only get it on one radio station. You know the one. All news, all the time. This is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world. Partly sunny skies and 68 degrees right now at 420. I'm Larry Mullins, and here's what's happening. Yeah, reaction already starting to come in now over the death of legendary NFL running back and actor Jim Brown, who passed away at his home last night in L.A. We will have the very latest. Back here, funeral services for the man who police say died of a chokehold on a subway train a few weeks ago. Reverend Al presiding over the services for Jordan Neely, saying he died not because of natural causes, but because of unnatural policies. City Comptroller Brad Lander says if these big greenhouse gas emitters are going to make billions, then they should be the ones footing the bill on climate change mitigation, not us, taxpayers. They're crediting a school security guard on Long Island for saving the life of a child at an elementary school. The child choking on a piece of food had started to turn blue, they say here. And an Atlanta prosecutor probing whether or not ex-President Trump and others broke the law while trying to overturn the 2020 election in Georgia says it might be August. We may see some grand jury indictments come out of that thing. 10-10 with AccuWeather tonight. Cloudy skies possible. Late showers coming through and a low of 58. Wednesday news time 421 now. And from the Mercedes-Benz of Edison.com Traffic Center, here is Greg Wright.
Now, the ride right now in New Jersey, Garden State Parkway, yeah, it'll be worse next weekend when the unofficial start of summer gets here. But Garden State Parkway right now, slow out of Bloomfield all the way down through Cranford. And we had an earlier rollover on the South End Parkway near 109. So it's still slow from before the PNC Arts Center and the locals all the way to Tinted Falls. And again, from right around Route 1, or I should say I-195, all the way down through Toms River, we're seeing some extra company on the Garden State Parkway. A lot of people heading down the shore to set up for the summer, and that's why we're already clogged up this weekend before next weekend. Getting away from the city of north of town, the Mario Cuomo Bridge, Rockland bound is a mess, and that's not even the half of it. Westbound cross Westchester crawling out of White Plains to the bridge, and off of the Mario Cuomo Bridge, northbound side a very slow go into the Palisades. Westbound Southern State still tough, getting out towards the area of Wellwood Avenue following earlier trouble. Southern State, you got a whole lot of eastbound company from right around the area of North Central Avenue all the way on out towards the Bethpage State Parkway. Whitestone's a mess either way. Throgs Neck better in either direction, and Bronx bound the Clearview Throgs Neck combination, best of what you've got getting out of Queens. RFK, you're jammed up either way. The Grand Central westbound awful from Northern Boulevard, and keep in mind through this area you will also have a Met game later this evening. Traffic is sponsored by Mercedes-Benz of Edison.com. I'm Greg Rice, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Go to Mercedes-Benz of Edison. Experience car buying the Ray Catino way, and you'll see why they were awarded Dealer Rater's 2023 Mercedes-Benz Dealer in New Jersey and Dealer of the Year for the Mid-Atlantic region across all brands. Visit Mercedes-Benz of Edison.
We will have more on the funeral services for Jordan Neely held today in Harlem within a week after his chokehold death at the hands of an ex-Marine. But first, Jim Brown. Word tonight, as you've been hearing, that the actor and Football Hall of Famer has passed away. A family spokeswoman says Brown died at his home in L.A. last night with his wife at his side. There's been no word on the cause of death. He was a fierce running back, though, who retired at the peak of his career, becoming an actor, having appeared in more than 30 films, and to advocate in civil rights cases. He'll be remembered as one of the greatest players in NFL history and one of the game's first superstars. chosen as the NFL's most valuable player in 1965. Jim Brown, dead at the age of 87. Back here, they held a funeral today for the Michael Jackson impersonator who died after being placed in a chokehold on a subway a few weeks ago during Neely's life and now his death, rekindling the debate over how to deal with homelessness, mental health, and public safety. Julia Papa.
Those paying respects chanted "No justice, no peace" as the Reverend Al Sharpton eulogized Jordan Neely.
We're not here because of natural causes. We're here because of unnatural policies.
He said Jordan wasn't annoying people on the train. He was screaming for help.
We keep criminalizing people with mental illness.
While he criticized the initial release of Daniel Penny, who was later charged with manslaughter, the Reverend said the city failed Neely. It choked him out. Julia Papa, 1010 wins on 92.3 FM in Harlem.
Also tonight, we had a bus crash out at JFK today, sending at least 15 people to the hospital. None of the injuries life-threatening. This happened on the northbound Van Wyck, where you exit the airport towards the Belt. Police say the van slammed into the back of a Delta Airlines bus. The Port Authority and EMS responded. All lanes, by the way, were shut down on the outbound Van Wyck, and investigation is continuing. Meantime, the search is on for the driver in a deadly hit-and-run crash in Williamsburg. Police say a 49-year-old man walking in the intersection of South 5th and Keep Streets this afternoon. He was hit by somebody on a Honda CRV and who got out of the vehicle and then made a run for it. Sadly, the victim died there at the scene, the suspect last seen running off towards the Bushwick houses. Outdoor dining may soon become permanent if the city council approves it.
After 3 years, outdoor dining sheds have become as much a part of New York's streetscape as the yellow cab. But parameters around a permanent program have been the subject of fierce debate.
We found what we think is a happy medium.
Leaders are coalescing around Councilmember Marjorie Velasquez's bill, which would force the sheds to come down in the winter months.
It's really crucial that we give an opportunity for our emergency vehicles and certainly for our sanitation department to have the ability to come in clean and keep it moving.
The structures would also have to follow design standards set out by the city, and restaurants would pay a fee based on the space being taken up and the neighborhood they're in.
I'm not going to burden my small restaurants with an enormous fee to compete with Manhattan levels, right?
The mayor and council speaker both signaled their support. Steve Burns, 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
Wednesday news time 426. Now Bloomberg Money Watch, and here is Andrew O'Day.
Hope that the parties in Washington were nearing a debt ceiling deal initially raised stocks today, but word Republican negotiators walked out of the meeting prompted a reversal. So we finished down. Dow loses 109, NASDAQ down 31, S&P 500 fell 6. Here it comes. GM's answer to Ford's first all-electric pickup, says the first electric Chevy Silverado is entering production this month. It will first be built in small numbers as a work truck for fleet buyers with a range of 450 miles of charge, then for retail customers this fall with a 350-mile range battery. It'll have a price of around $40,000 to start. GM already makes an electric Hummer, but that's not for everyone. That machine starts at $80,000. Bloomberg Money Watch at 26 and 56 past every hour. I'm Andrew O'Day for 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
And now this message, Mets fans, before every game, tune in to the Nissan Mets pregame show on WCBS 880. Wednesday news time 427.
Because growing a business keeps you on the go. We've got your bank. Because a steady cash flow is the lifeblood of your bottom line. We've got your bank. Because your workday simply doesn't stop at 5 o'clock. We've got your bank. Dime Community Bank gives you the digital tools you need to simplify your business banking, even deposit checks, anytime from anywhere. And we back our technology with a team that's always there, wherever business takes you. Visit Dime.com to learn more. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Being nosy is a good thing. Like if you suspect a natural gas leak in your home, get outside immediately. Then call 911 or your natural gas provider. Natural gas gives off a funny smell, kind of like rotten eggs. You may also hear a hissing sound or see a hazy white cloud. So if you notice any of these signs, get outside immediately. Then call 911 or your natural gas provider. Being nosy can keep you safe. From the member companies of the Northeast Gas Association.
According to independent studies, AccuWeather has been proven to be the most accurate source of weather forecasts and warnings. In the longest continuous forecast accuracy study comparing AccuWeather to National Weather Service temperature forecasts for Washington, D.C., AccuWeather forecasts have been more accurate in greater than 99% of the months since the study was initiated in January 1998. If you want to be correct most often, AccuWeather is your only solution. Go to AccuWeather.com or download the AccuWeather app in the App Store or Google Play today.
Ask Sherwin-Williams and get 35% off Emerald products and Super Deck stains May 19th through the 22nd. That means 35% off our most popular color family, blue. Psychologists have found it to be soothing and relaxing, which makes it especially great for bedrooms and bathrooms. And of course, get 35% off all of our other colors. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
When you support City Harvest, you do more than just provide hundreds of millions of pounds of food to millions of hungry New Yorkers. When you support City Harvest, you feed good. Support us at cityharvest.org.
AccuWeather says we'll get some rain and drizzle later on tonight, but for the most part, mostly cloudy, mainly along the coast, a low of 58, that drizzle, that is. Tomorrow, cloudy and damp with occasional rain and drizzle, the heaviest coming to Long Island and the Connecticut suburbs. A high of 68 degrees, rain and drizzle ending tomorrow evening, mainly cloudy though the rest of the night, with a low tomorrow night 57 degrees. Sunday turning out nice and warmer with some sun and a high of 77. We're at 68 right now in the park. Good afternoon, I'm Larry Mullins. When's news time? At the Tone, 4:30.
I'm Lori Madden. A school security guard in Riverhead did more than keep kids safe. She saved the life of a 5-year-old.
If I wasn't there, that kid might not be here today.
Sarah Atkins looks back and begins to cry as we stand in the cafeteria of Riley Avenue Elementary School here in Riverhead, where a 5-year-old boy started turning blue as he was eating chicken nuggets.
He wasn't getting any air at all. He was bluing. And once his shoulder dropped, I knew that this kid is like, he has seconds left.
Atkins, a former nurse's aide, had to perform the Heimlich again and again.
I'm like, you got to keep going. And I'm like, I just said a prayer, not here. For some reason, all the what ifs hit me. And right then and there, I just kept going.
At the 7 tries, the nugget was released and the little boy started crying.
I just held him, and he held on to me, and I walked him to the nurse.
Sophia Hall, 1010 wins on 92.3 FM in Riverhead, Long Island.
Wednesday time, 4:31. Time now for expanded traffic and transit with Greg Wright.
Well, Lori, I just heard from Danny, who wanted me to tell her if there was a crash somewhere on the southern state. He didn't know where all this traffic was coming from. Buddy, you're in for a day. Eastbound Southern State Parkway is a mess from Central Avenue all the way on out to 110. You can't blame this on a crash. It's basically a summer Friday with the way traffic patterns are today, and the eastbound Southern State just isn't doing the job for you. Westbound Southern State, a whole lot of company from the Bethpage all the way back to Eagle Avenue. Sunrise Highway's better either way. Northern State eastbound company from Queens over to Roslyn Road, again from the Meadowbrook all the way to the Seaford Oyster Bay. Long Island Expressway westbound ride is a crawl all the way on out to Roslyn Road because of an accident in the right lane. Eastbound LI jam from the Midtown Tunnel all the way on out towards Willis Avenue. Citybound George, 30 up, 20 down. Not a hint of a happy ride out. Southbound Deegan en route to the George. Yeah, that's a mess from Westchester, just to give you a bit of a barometer. Lincoln Tunnel right now, 45 in. Outbound side of the Lincoln Tunnel, we're looking at 40 to 60 minutes. Solid 40 to 60 at the outbound Holland. 30 to 40 in from the Skyway. Outbound covered roadway and Skyway starting to clog up across the Hackensack River. Stay with the Newark Bay. Either way, going to be the much better play. Traffic is sponsored by Lowe's. Shop savings on all your outdoor essentials now at Lowe's. Spruce up your garden with Scott's Naturescapes 1.5 cubic foot mulch. Get 5 bags for $10. Lowe's knows lawn care. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 5/31. Selection varies by location while supplies last. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii. I'm Greg Rice. 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
Now the AccuWeather 4-day forecast. Here is meteorologist John Feerick.
Well, we're going to have a dry evening, it looks like, across the Tri-State area. If you head to the Mets game, it looks like it's going to be pretty quiet. More clouds will work in as we head through the night, though. We'll fall back to 58. We'll see some rain and drizzle break out toward daybreak along the coast. So we'll have periods of rain for tomorrow. The high up to 68. The steadiest rain looks likely across Long Island, up into Connecticut. And then we'll dry out tomorrow night. We're down to 57, and Sunday definitely looks like the better day of the weekend. Some sunshine will top out at 77. A little bit cooler Monday, sunny, breezy, high 72. And the dry weather continues Tuesday and Wednesday. And now the Allergy Alert forecast sponsored by Ymca and Allergy Associates. Book your same-day appointment online today. Tomorrow's outlook is low to medium with oak, mulberry, and grasses the predominant pollens. Right now in Central Park, 68 with some sun. Well, down to 58 tonight in Midtown. I'm AccuWeather's John Feerick on New York's weather station, 1010 winds on 92.3 FM.
Find your next great hire with Indeed. Their hiring platform makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates all in the same place. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Weekday time, 4:34. The Georgia prosecutor investigating former President Donald Trump and some of his allies appears to be suggesting that something will be happening in August. Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis has sent a letter to the Superior Court judge and county officials asking that no trials and in-person hearings be scheduled over the first 3 weeks in August. She also indicated that she plans to have much of her staff work remotely then. Willis convened a grand jury that scrutinized the actions of Mr. Trump and others as they tried to overturn his loss in Georgia to Joe Biden. A Washington, D.C. police officer is accused of leaking confidential information to an extremist group leader.
An indictment alleges Metropolitan Police Lieutenant Shane Lamond warned former Proud Boys leader Enrique Tarrio 2 years ago that there was an arrest warrant for Tarrio related to group members destroying a Black Lives Matter banner. Lamond's also charged with obstruction. Tarrio was convicted earlier this month on seditious conspiracy charges related to the Capitol riot. Jurors in that trial heard testimony that Lamond often gave Tarrio internal information about law enforcement operations leading up to the riot. Sagar Mangani, Washington.
Robert Kennedy Jr. has named former Congressman Dennis Kucinich as his campaign manager. Kennedy is challenging President Biden for the Democratic nomination for president. Kucinich previously launched his own long-shot quest for the presidency. Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina has filed paperwork to run for president, officially entering the growing Republican primary field. Scott, the Senate's only black Republican, is expected to make his announcement on Monday. Montana's new